Learning how to draw, or rather, learning anything really, can be described as a math problem or sort of scientific process. Let's tackle a math problem concept, for example, like the order of operations, PEMDAS, or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. These mnemonic devices are used to break down how to tackle these math problems. They taught this to everyone in school. Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. Doing these in order and showing your work gets you the answer and the how and why that got you to these answers. Same with the scientific process: observing, questioning, hypothesizing, experimenting, analyzing, and the inevitable conclusion. We have these safeguards in place in order to not only arrive at an answer deemed satisfactory and correct, but to document and explain to not only ourselves, but to others how we got to these answers. We can arrive at incorrect answers and conclusions as well, and trace these steps to see where we went wrong, and art is no different. As an artist, you'll be required to learn all sorts of things: anatomy, shading, perspective, etc., along with countless other subjects depending on your specific goals and expertise. We have our own scientific process and order of operations that makes us better critics of our own art and allows us to improve. It's simply not enough to draw and learn. You must break down the core concepts of art and the subjects you are studying. If you wish to learn how to draw portraits better, you shouldn't only learn how to draw from the front view, side view, and 3/4 view. You should learn how to draw from all sorts of angles. You should learn how to draw the skull and the bones of the face to a fairly simple degree. Learn the different types of light angles and how the features of the face and different face structures affect these lighting scenarios. You want to learn how to draw anatomy better, delve deep into the bones and skeletal structure, the different types of muscle groups. Study your simple shapes such as squares, triangles, and circles. Become familiar with them in perspective. The point is that you shouldn't simply copy what you're seeing, but you should seek to understand why and how you can do the same thing. If we bring up the example of a math problem, there have been times in school where I'm sure you know the answer to your problem, but when you go to turn in the homework, your teachers ask you to show your work regardless of if you know the answer or not. If you're used to always giving answers and not stopping to show your work, it may prove frustrating, tedious, and you may not even know how you got to the answer in the first place since you subconsciously solved it. It's the equivalent of the SpongeBob meme where he shows Squidward how to draw a circle, so he draws a portrait, then erases to the in progress picture, then erases again to the circle. You want to draw an arm, you don't simply start drawing from the muscles and outside first. You break it down into circles and ovals and measure the length, the counter motions of the left and right sides, the overall structure. Then you start adding simple masses and shapes and define them slowly into muscle groups. Add some shading perhaps, and you have a human arm. This is what learning is on the most fundamental level, failing over and over again, sheets upon sheets of drawings, hours upon hours of studies, showing your work. This is what makes up the larger divide between the two camps of beginner and intermediate artists. The beginner has not spent enough time yet or dedicated themselves enough to realize this, while the intermediate artists know this concept of showing their work and just needs a little bit more refining on other, less fundamental levels to truly make their art stand out. Keep this concept in mind the next time you do an art study or when someone asks you how you drew a certain thing. Remember the concept of showing your work. I appreciate everyone who is watching and who is listening. I want to wish everyone well on their own art journeys. Thank you and goodbye.